Hello and welcome to Fantasy Take TV's Round 13 review podcast. Today on the agenda, we'll discuss how we went, our trades and whatnot. We'll give out a hot take for the rest of the year. We'll speak about promos that we want to bring in to our sides in each line, but we're going to order them so you know which we prefer. A whole bunch of options with more options this week in the last buy round. We'll speak about should we trade certain promos on the last buy. We'll speak about the rookies, of course, and captains and the Discord Q&A. So first things first, Enno, start us off. How did you go this week and what were your trades?
Actually, on top of the leaderboard for the last three this week. It's a rare sight. But 1893. Had to trade Baz, like many of us, or probably all of us that owned him, and went to Zach Merritt. He was the clear option for me. I couldn't afford your Parrish or Walsh, which turned out pretty lucky in the end. Well, more with Parrish, who... Thing is, I probably wouldn't have gone in the end. I probably would have gone Walsh, but Merritt. Look, he wasn't great, but I think he should give us at least like sort of a 105 at worst. So he was all right. Did SDK to Sinclair, so it was sort of 2 up, and that doing Merritt allowed me to get Sinclair as well, who I thought was the best option in defence. And then did Robbie McComb to Judson Clark, who JD's in the same situation. We went Clark just because we couldn't really know if Ware was playing, so. Went with him. He was good, but I still think I prefer Ware, on my defender bench. But we might be getting some options this week. Who knows? We'll wait for the team. So sitting at 12K now, and let's hope I can keep going upwards. But we'll see.
JD, do you also have a message from our sponsors?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So I'll quickly go through, I guess, where I'm at. So I scored 1821, moved up a few ranks to 17K-ish. Trades very similar. So Baslenka forced trade into Merritt, Sam DeConning into Doherty, and then McComb into Clark. And yeah, I guess we can quickly talk about Manscaped. Obviously, we talked about freeing Dean Cox last week. And I'll tell you what, there was one viewer that tuned in last week and took our advice to heart. Ordered some Manscaped products with code FTTV for 20% checkout and free shipping. And clearly that shipping came very quickly because Mason Cox stood out on the weekend. Should have won the Neil Danaher medal for best on ground. Got robbed a little bit there. But unlike him, you guys can make sure you don't get robbed when you use code FTTV at checkout for manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code FTTV. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And you can be like Mason Cox, rising high. Now, disclaimer, he may or may not have ordered Manscaped to get performance-enhancing results, but we can just only hope from what we saw on the weekend that was the case.
Thank you for that, JD. That was excellent. Obviously,
I like it. I like it when you just do the hard throw as well. Like, JD, can you read out some sponsorship materials? Like, it really, seamless transitions is what we're all about here. We've always been smooth movers, smooth operators.
Yeah. Well, you have history doing advertisements, so you're the best one to do it.
Let's not bring that up. Let's not bring that up.
All right. So moving on. How did I do this week? Trash 1,772. Fielded 17. Fielded 8 primos. No, how many primos? I was missing 8 primos. 9 if you want to count Sam Walsh. Still kind of salty about bringing in Walsh to 75, paying up, All you broke-ass people paying for Merritt, nah, I'm getting Walsh, and I'll lose points and drop money, and we move on. But trades Maurice Rioli to Judson Clark, so that's fine, I guess. Hayes to Teakle to free up some money for McComb to Sam Walsh. Walsh should be fine, just annoying that I brought him in this week, but hopefully his ceiling isn't hurt too much because of how much he starts at half forward. But we'll see. He's still getting 32 touches a game, 31, 32, something like that. So, first thing on the agenda, hot take, because we are Fantasy Take TV. Enno, I think you would love to share yours. What is your hot take for the rest of the year? Or right now?
Well, by the way, I just said, let's just bring a take. It didn't have to be hot, but Jaws went straight to guys, gotta heat him up. Now I feel like I'm underprepared because I just had something I don't know, an observation, a take. Now it's not.
Well, you see what you think of mine. I don't even know if it's that hot, but we'll be starting Nick Dacos next year, boys. I think.
Oh, that's
Totally not hot at all.
Bad take.
No,
That
that's
is a
okay.
bad take.
So-
That is hot because the answer is no. No way.
With defender status, he's averaging 84 this year. Why can't he get to around the 100 mark next year?
Okay. Like, I feel like you're saying this just to trigger me. Like, clearly.
Kinda, yeah, to be honest.
Okay, because, all right, for those that, like, watch our weekly vids, like, I did mine, and I had, like, a little throwaway comment there about, Dacos holders getting a little bit lucky. And George and Eno were straight onto it, and then they needled me about it during the week, right? Now, this is some BS. Like, the 7 weeks, not since, like, round 4 had he scored over 80. In the last weeks, he hadn't scored, 3 weeks, he hadn't scored over 70. And so trading him was, like, really reasonable if it worked with your bias. And then he's gone back-to-back 112 and 113. And they're both telling me, it was such an obvious hold, JD. I don't know what you were doing trading. It was such an obvious hold. You boys were on this podcast 3 weeks ago saying it's fine to trade him if you want to. It's fine to hold him as well. But, like, you didn't need to keep him because you're going to miss out on 2 110s. What a joke.
Put that shit to the side anyway. Like, actually, you see it starting and, like, he averaging like 28 touches a game, and his first 10 games, 12 games of footy. Like, look, it's a lot of uncontested stuff, but he was mopping up pretty well in defense.
Where's he
Pendles
playing
gets
next
a year
year?
older. That's what I mean. If he goes to the midfield,
Yeah, but
it's second year
defender
player.
ceiling's nuts this year. I don't know what it'll be like next year. We'll see how he goes in the preseason. I'll be underpriced for sure. It's just what's his ceiling, but.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not even going to be that underpriced if he keeps his roll up. Like, he's still averaging in the low 80s. It's not going to be that discounted. And yeah, the problem is, like, his poor scorings come when they've moved him forward of the ball. So he has to continue to play like the loose, floating defender role next year for you to consider him. But yeah, I guess this takes like pretty warm because I'm like firmly in, like, I can't see myself even getting close to starting him next year.
Yeah.
Feels like it'll be a trap pick.
It'd be good to see if we could see what like the splits are, what games he's played, mostly defense or whatnot, and correlate scores. But anyway, that's what came to my head and kind of was to wind up JD a bit. But it's something to think about. Like, he's like 27 touches a game is nothing to sneeze at in your first.
Yeah,
game.
nuts.
Let's be real.
Mission accomplished, Emma. I'm rolled.
All right,
Content,
what is your
mate.
super hot, spicy take, JD?
Oh, the hottest take. I was just going to write off one player, but do you know what? I'll write off 3 teams' plays instead. No one from the bottom 3 teams on the ladder will be at top of their line from here to the end of the year. So that is North, West Coast, and Essendon will not produce a top X player for that line from here to the end of the year, which means we're putting a line through Hall, Witherden, Ridley, Merritt, Parrish. Off the top of my head, none of them will be top of the line from here to the end of the year. There you go. That's my hot take.
Why not Parrish?
Because the take had to be hot, so I had to throw in something that was a little bit spicy.
Parrish would be
The
close, I
calf,
think.
maybe.
The calf, yeah. Well, he's got a calf knock. Doesn't get up next week. It already puts him game behind. May as well, yeah. He's out. There you go.
Yeah, if he misses a week, then it's true. It's pretty much true.
Okay, I have one. I think that there's a reasonable chance next year that we start Ben Hobbs in the forward line. So my reasoning for this is players that score really well out of position. He's not scoring like super well, but out of position, playing half forward a hell of a lot. I want to say he's averaging 75 the past few weeks out of position. So how will he go in position? We'll see how he goes over the preseason. But he'll get forward status next year. Really want to see him when they give him a proper midfield role. I think they should give it to him. He's been fantastic this year. Watching him, he works so hard. He just knows where to find the ball. And I think the criticism of him in his draft year was he's a stoppage specialist, and he wasn't that useful outside of that. Which I'm not seeing that at all. I'm seeing a reasonably good outside game. But yeah, that's for next year. It's obviously very young second-year player, but he has all the hallmarks of a future premium. But
It might actually
not necessarily
turn out
next year.
to be good for his development doing this.
Yeah, we'll see. I think breakouts are so hard to pick, but I think he's only averaging 63. So
Yeah,
you're right. That's 80.
So
5 round of 80.
I think there's like a few positive signs there. Like, he's averaging close to 5 marks a game off a half forward role. That's like pretty impressive. And he's getting around that 3-4 tackle mark a game. He's also hit the scoreboard in each of the last 5 weeks. So these are all like really positive signs for someone that has been largely played. out of position, and I don't think he's got CBAs the last couple of weeks to achieve those numbers. So that's really promising. I'd say like the other one to keep an eye out for is Archie Perkins, just because he'll be going into his third year. He's shown a bit. He's got CBAs the last 2 weeks, which hasn't translated into massive Supercoach points, but he's another one that maybe with more opportunity could turn into something. But I like the Hobbs take. That's an interesting one outside the box.
Yep. Well, we'll see how he goes. If he can bulk up a bit more over the preseason. So now we'll talk about 2022 Supercoach. Defenders. Our boy is back. One Lockheed Whitfield. Did you see how freely he was moving up the ground? I think he started more down back, and then he just, for the most part, was up the ground a bit more. And for me, with Lockheed Whitfield, his best position is wing half forward, not half back. I think his ceiling is capped at half back, and they've got a whole bunch of plays. We'll talk about Himmelberg later. Even they pushed Ware up the ground, but I think Adam Kennedy played back there. They got a whole bunch of plays that can run through the defense line. Isaac Cummings, the main guy back there. They need Whitfield forward of the ball. So against North, North are piss take. They just no defensive pressure. GWS took 1 trillion marks that game. Whitfield is, 430? Something like that. 428. Yep. What did we make of Whitfield's game? Is it enough just seeing the game against North? But is he a discounted option you could bring up if you couldn't go for like a Doherty or Sinclair and Stewart, very expensive at the moment? So, JD, did you see Whitfield's game, or do you have any thoughts on Lockheed Whitfield?
So I think, like, firstly, he's the best of the discounted options, as you said. I guess, like, the thing that you got to keep in mind is it's against North, and he still had a negative Dream Team Supercoach ratio. So those things concern me a bit. Also didn't score as prolifically in the first half of the game. It was more the back end of the game when it was really, like, wide open. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, I think he's the best of the discounted options, but you'd love to get another game watching him against Bulldogs this week, see how GWS and him in particular hold up against him before pulling the trigger. So, yeah, like, easily best of the discounted options. I'm not sure that he's back yet. I'd like to wait and see another game if you had, the luxury to do so.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I think he's clearly the best down at that price. So, yeah, if you're struggling, he's clear number one. But, wasn't enough to gain any real meaningful data from against North, as you said. So, yeah, not much more to add there.
Yeah, so I don't mind him. I don't think he's any chance of being top 6 given this year. And again, as you said, JD, the seems to be scoring a lot better in Dream Team than Supercoach. So I still think his disposal is just not what it used to be. And that's really hurting him. So I think for other formats, yes, Supercoach could be a D7 M9 sort of deal. So yeah, I wouldn't do it though in Supercoach, only if you were priced into that. So, but it looked all right. So now we have 4 premiums that are coming off, or they're available. They've had their buy in the past week or two. Doherty, Sinclair, Stewart, and Dawson. So we're going to try and order these 4. Forget price for a minute, because if you're priced into someone, then you go for that person in that price. Could you try and order these, Enno, in your preference?
I think it's just got to base it off almost what you got to take into account Stewart's injury score. So I think for me, he's number 1, and then I think Sinclair's number 2. I think Dawson's clear last here. I'm just having trouble splitting hairs between Sinclair and Doc.
It's quite interesting because, like, Doherty is 60k cheaper or 55k cheaper at this point.
Yeah, like, I think you go Doc over that if that helps you get the next player or your last final upgrade.
But I'd have Sinclair over Doc as well.
Yeah.
I think how you had it, Stu, Sinclair, Doc, Dawson's probably how I would rank them.
I think so. Wait, the defenders are cracked this year.
That's the
insane.
other problem with Whitfield, by the way. Like, even if he's back, I don't know if he's going to be back enough to, like, outscore Sinclair, Hewitt, Doherty, Stu,
like Dawson and Chris
Sicily.
at 105. Like,
Yeah.
Might be like, and they're like 9th and 10th. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man. They're good scorers.
Okay, I'm slightly different. I am 1 Stewart, 2 Sinclair, 3 Dawson, 4 Doherty. So I think people forget Dawson did 115 in this role last year, and he has been shifted around a bit. But I think the Crows were missing Luke Brown. I think Chase Jones was omitted for Parnell, so they basically lost a defender. We're also down Jordan Butt, so Dawson needed to go back for a bit. But I think the Crows will get their players back. He'll be up on a wing. It's been done to death, the Crows fixture, how weak it is. I'll take Dawson over Doherty.
You know
It's a
what?
good
I don't
point.
hate that call. Like a 116 average in the past 5. I could easily be swung on Dawson being a better option than Doherty.
Yeah,
They're all good, really.
yeah. Doherty's
I didn't
great.
realize that. I forgot about like Dawson. Obviously, I've had him all year, but yeah, his last 5 weeks have been all ton plus, a few 130s. So
Yeah, I got nothing against Doherty, and I think he's at worst like D7 probably. I think a lot of people would have him like top 4, but yeah, I just have concerns. I think everyone else will run out the year really well. Doc looks like he will, but you just never know. So that's the only thing I can come up with. But yeah, we'll move on.
easy fixtures too with that role is good. That's the chance to get more points all of the ball.
Just before we move on from defenders, Shorty, who was talked about as one of the better picks at the start of the year, bit of concern with, I guess, like his recent kind of 5-round average dipping below that 100 mark, and then also playing more forward of the ball on the weekend, which is definitely not what you want to see for Supercoach scoring. Is he someone that you'd be looking to luxury trade out if you were in a position much better than my team currently is?
If you had the trade, nothing else to do, I say probably go for it. Although he's 120 break even, I'd probably maybe wait. Oh, you kind of got to go, I guess. Like Doherty's the same price. If you can get to Dawson, maybe if you don't have him for a nicer run, that's going to cost you 30.
Yeah, because like Carlton Geelong, the next 2, they're definitely not easy games.
Yeah, you're right. Just probably tough. People probably got 3 trades booked this week. It's just hard to, unless if you got a boost and a good amount of trades, you could probably definitely think about it. But I think for most of us, just got to hold for now.
Okay, so what does short average from here on out in this role? It's
I
like
think like
95 to 100.
I think like 105 is the best result. So yeah, like 100.
I would say like 95 to 100.
It could be worse, yeah, for sure. It could be worse.
He's probably the most durable dude back there at the moment.
He's obviously, I don't know, most people probably have more important luxury upgrades like a Butters or something like that. But
yeah,
I guess it's like the question is, if you had the trades, is he a trade out potential over the next couple of weeks? Because it just seems like other defenders are going to be putting 10 to 15 a week on his head from here.
Yeah.
Look, it is a role that kind of like Dawson. It's not as good, and he's not as good a player to like, take marks and that sort of thing. But big scores can come in this role too if the Tigers actually play well. So I haven't really looked at our fixture to be honest, but I think West Coast in 3 weeks, North in 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay, maybe hold.
Maybe there's a chance for some big ones.
Flick after that, maybe. I think I probably. Here's the thing: if you're lowish on trades like I am, so I have 4 left with the finished team, and I'm staring down a potential Gorn injury, which we're not too sure on. We'll get more info on that. Like healthy body can stay, full stop. So yeah, I think that's something I'd probably, now that you bring up that fixture, I'd look at that after the West Coast and North game, and then you can look at, going up to a Sinclair or something like that, if you can somehow arrange that. But otherwise, I'd probably hold in the short term.
I think for people without Stewart like me, that's probably around the time that Stewart's dropped a bit of money as well. So
yeah,
you could wait for that. Okay, cool.
Okay, midfield. People getting annoyed with Cristiano Petrarca. I am holding. Okay, so he's like worth nothing anyway. He's 480k.
Yeah.
JD, do you own Petrarca?
I do. Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
His 3-round average is 74.
That early
he's
days,
putting up to-goey numbers. He's putting up to-goey numbers at the moment. Jesus.
At least he has a flu game. De Goey has no excuse.
Dude, no, De Goey had a flu game as well.
Did he? Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah,
Everyone in the league's had a
never
flu game.
recovered. Never recovered.
So, what are your thoughts on Petrarca? What do you think he's going to average post buy, and how do you feel about holding him? Or if people could trade him, bit of a loaded question, but what are your general thoughts on Petrarca?
He's not a top 8 mid, but he's also fun to hold. Like, this is a little bit the same category as short for me, which is if you could move him on to like one of the Ubers that you don't have, then I'm all for doing it. But I think with the week off and then Melbourne kind of rebounding on the back of that, they should come good. Like, their fixture's pretty hard, but he seems to do all right in some of those tougher matchups anyway. Seems to thrive in some of those. So, like, I've got no concern about the difficulty of the fixture. I think he'll come. I think he'll be fine and come good. Yeah.
And I have a question for you.
Mm.
When did you bring in Petrarca last year? For how
Dead
much?
set, I think, this round. I think
how
it was
much did you pay?
520, something like that. Because I had no money. Look,
Yeah.
it wasn't a shock. My team was crap again last year at that point. It wasn't as bad as this, but I don't know. It was like 5K or something. Couldn't afford anyone. Went him and he just went bang. He went like 180 or something, or 170 against Port. Was massive. He still dropped his 90s like he always does. I'm looking at the game yesterday. He's had 32 at 80%, 19 contested, and he hasn't even tonned. It's like, if he can't ton with that sort of numbers, I don't know what's going on. He needs to kick goals. One tackle isn't great, but it's not like he's had a poor game. It's just, yeah. I don't know how.
2 frees against.
I just checked. I brought in both Petrarca and Degoe in the same round. Jeez, what a week.
Hey, I got Petrarca and Baz, mate, 3-4 weeks ago as well.
Yikes.
That's shocking. I'll hold. I think the lower end mids, are they even that great? Like, after
I'd rather have some of these defenders at the moment. I'd rather have Sinclair than Merritt or
Sinclair,
like
mate.
Petrarca or like, yeah, crap.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All the defenders are mid status pretty much.
I'm happy to hold. I think there's every chance. There's no real excuse.
What do you do? 486K anyway.
I know.
What do you do?
Yeah.
You can't. You can't.
So I'll hold.
How about this for a question? Just back on defenders. Are we starting Doherty as D1 next year?
No.
Because he's like the only defender that's still going to be a defender. Or maybe Sinclair will be in there. No
Sinclair,
one else.
Sinclair will be there.
It'll be like Sicily, Stewart, Sinclair, and Doherty. Those 4 will still be defenders. Everyone else will be mids.
Dawson should still keep it, maybe. Oh, probably too many rounds.
Dawson will keep it, I think.
No, if he plays like wing from here on out, or if he's still defending next year, like I'm picking Dawson. Nothing can stop me from picking Dawson.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, that was a bit of derailment. Back to the mids. There's a few trade-in targets this week off their bye. Who do you like the look of? Eno?
Oh, it's George's man. I think it's pretty surprisingly he's like the 5th most traded in Primo. Looking at the numbers, but Rory Laird. If you can't find a way to get him, I'd be very scared. I was scared that I couldn't get him, but I'll definitely be forcing him in. As we said, fixture. It's been said 1,000 times. He's just in good form, and like I actually said, bit of a stupid trumpet toot, but last year I said like Laird and Mills, I want to start him in the midfield, like even when they lose their defender status. And I thought he should have, like, obviously he couldn't start Laird, but they've both been awesome, and I got Laird slightly ahead of Mills, but obviously if you already had Laird, Mills would be, I think, my number 2. But yeah, you guys got the same. Probably not much to add, Roy. Let's clear number 1.
Laird, fixture, awesome. Roll, fantastic. Durability,
good.
Fantastic. I know he broke his hand, but it's like whatever. No soft tissue. First possession winner, unbelievable. Contested ball, like one of the top in the league. Like, just ticks every single box.
And look at his stats when he gets to the bench. That's what he's on.
He does check him. He has to check him. But so
Mills,
we can
number 2.
More.
I think Laird's had like 2 games below 118 this year. That's it.
Crazy.
And one was the first game back after the broken hand.
Yeah.
And this was with their harder fixture to start the year, right?
Yeah. The only thing I will say is Kane Turner might tag him.
Oh, not Kane Turner. Oh,
well,
no.
he did a reason.
Oh, no.
He stopped Josh Kelly's outside game, and I
He
know
stopped Josh
that-
Kelly going 200, yeah.
Yeah,
But he still
yeah,
went
yeah.
110.
Yeah, and like that's like outside game, right? Where like everyone else in GWS is firing. There's no way Turner is going to be able to stop Laird from getting his hands on the ball.
I have a feeling he's gone to him before and it hasn't worked from memory.
I think it might be the first time in history that Turner tagging someone has worked, just quietly.
I mean, surely David Noble goes in, they have their little review, and they go, "How do you reckon you went, mate?" "Oh, Josh Kelly at 28." I know they got pumped. Like, why? Surely they don't bother with this crap.
So the funny thing was, like, they asked him, I think, coming out of halftime about the tag and whether they'd drop it or not. And that was like one of the things of the game they were happy with, that they thought was working well, and it was limiting.
And we got Gucci Man kicking like 3 goals. Like, come on, man. Seriously. Like,
okay.
Oh, North. Should we just captain every player we have as North the rest of the season? Like,
I think so. Like, it's been more reliable than West Coast. West Coast, like, you get some up and down, but against North, it's just, give me points.
So go on.
I was going to say, like, I'm looking at fantasy, which obviously, like, correlates a little bit to Supercoach. Didn't GWS, like, post the all-time record for most points scored by a team in a game for, like, of the last 20 years against North on the weekend? Something ridiculous like that.
Oh, they're just uncontested marks score.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have a hypothetical. So forget durability for a second. You have to order these guys. Laird, Mills, Took, Josh Kelly. I'm forgetting someone. I'll put Sam Walsh in. Order Mills, Laird, Took, Kelly, and Walsh.
That's hard.
I'll go first because I've just put you guys on the spot. So forgetting durability, Took 1, Laird 2, Kelly 3, Mills 4, Walsh 5, only because of the role for Sam Walsh, less CBAs.
I'll go Laird 1, Mills 2, Took 3, Kelly 4, Walsh 5. I don't know. Kelly just... I think all these other guys, the first 3 definitely, I think have 120 guys. I know Kelly can be, but he never finishes the year doing that. He just has sort of bursts. And then, Hertz put Sam at 5, but it's pretty good options.
I think I'll go Laird, Took, Mills, Walsh, Kelly.
Yeah, I should have done the same.
You guys don't think Took will
They have a good fixture too.
go 120 plus?
If Gold Coast is serious,
125 plus.
Like they're a chance for finals. I know everyone will laugh. It's Gold Coast, haha. But like, if they actually, and I'm sure Stewie Jews, he's a smart guy, and I'm sure they all know. Like they have a chance here for sure. Good fixture. Yeah. Only a couple of games from like bloody 9th to 1st. So yeah, I can definitely see it too going bonkers like he did last year.
Yeah. So
wouldn't surprise me if he outdid Laird. But like if I had to pick one, I'd just
would it surprise if he was like 130 and beat the number 1 from here? Like I don't think it would either. He could easily do that.
Yep. All right. So in the ruck line, there's nothing really to speak about here other than Gawn is getting scans for potential syndesmosis. Well, that was reported. Like it said possible. Like Gawn had an interview where he said, "Oh, I could be running tomorrow. I could be out for a while," something like that. So he doesn't really know. I think just cross that bridge when it comes.
I've got a hypothetical for you. It may happen. It's really early. We don't know. By Sunday, Gold Coast play. So last game. If it is set and you get the info that Gawn will be missing round 15, because I think they play Thursday, George, or it Friday? It's early.
It's a joke. They don't even get a break. It's like
it's like a 10-day
Monday
or
to
a 9-day or something. Yeah, so you don't have Wits for whatever reason. Maybe you have Gawn Darcy or Gawn English or something like that. Do you go Gawn to Wits, get the extra ruck score this week, and then just play with Wits the rest of the year?
Yes.
If you know Gawn's out the week after, I think it's a yes. Clear.
Yeah, I would do that.
If it was still like some ambiguity, we don't actually know for sure if he's out. Would you even consider it, or just?
If it's syndesmosis, like you're just jumping off, I think.
Yeah. It might be up in the air. Like we might not know.
Yeah. What if we didn't know
okay,
by
so
Sunday? Would you
if
still
he's
think about it?
if he's definitely out long term,
You do it, obviously.
trade. If they
If it's-
say
don't
2
know.
weeks, like definitely 2 weeks, trade.
I still think trade. Yeah.
If they say 1 to 2, I would hold and hope he comes back, and like depends on your cover as well. Maybe we get Hollins and he covers really well for us this week.
Isn't like the other thing to consider here the price, or is Gaunt's price not that bad at the moment?
No, 600k.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, Wits is like 620. Okay, that's not much.
Straight?
So
Yeah.
I thought Gaun was
more,
like down
yeah.
with Darcy in the 550s.
Gonna get there now, but yeah. Oh no, because of the 190.
I think when we do the trades video, we'll assess where that's at.
Yeah, we'll know more then. Yeah.
Yeah. So the forward line, the first topic we'll speak about is people might be looking to trade Will Brodie or Darcy Cameron. And I know you have Darcy Cameron. Any interest in trading him? Because of
Can I
his
just
last
speak on
fight?
both? Can I just say no to both? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like that. I think it's just clearly no to both. I think people are more tempted to trade Brodie. I was actually looking like him and Track are the two most traded out premiums. Well, Baz is there for whatever people still holding him, but it's Track and Brodie. And I think, I don't know. I think it's 1 week of Brodie. He's gone 80. I think, this is speaking from somebody who doesn't have him. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. From what I saw Fife doing, it was like an early, inject him into the midfield in the first 5 minutes, and then after that, he was majority forward. Like he had a little, more burst, but Brodie's pretty much centre bounce, 6 minute stint in the midfield, 8 minute stint, and then back to the bench. But that's fine.
Yeah.
That's all he needs. We've seen it all year.
Yeah, JD, you have neither. But would you entertain trading either if you did have them?
I've got both of them in the other format, so I am looking at it. Cameron, I definitely wouldn't trade. Brodie is the one I would consider. I think it comes down to who you'd be trading in. So if you're missing like a Tim English, and that's your way of getting it to him, and you don't have like other bad forwards that you'd rather get rid of instead, then like I'm okay with it. Like jumping off and taking that gamble. But yeah, like obviously like we don't know how this Fife in the midfield as well is going to play out, but he still led the team for CBAs. He was 100% midfield time, just didn't translate to points like it has in other weeks. Is that because Fife's in there? It was just a down game. That's like the part that's really hard to say. So I think it's probably okay. Like I think he'll probably be okay, and that's why I'd only trade him if you were getting one of those like other top forwards that look like they're going to go better than him. So that would probably be like English, Bont. Everyone's got Dunkley, and those are probably it. Like I'm not even sure if I'd be confident trading him to Parker, who's probably the next best option after those three. So yeah, I think it'd be like quite team dependent. That'd be your best option.
Okay. I wouldn't trade either.
Butters and Cogs. I don't think you can do it.
I'm okay enough on Cogs. I think I'd have Cogs over Brodie from here. I would have Butters below him like easily.
He just used he just went at 50%.
Yeah.
Didn't hit a target. I think it's fine.
Yeah, that efficiency 75. He probably tons up.
Yep.
What was his time on ground like?
67. What it's been all year.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be holding. I think if you had no room for English and he was the only avenue this week, I'd consider it. I think English's DPP might be actually really useful, especially for people who have gone. Other than that, I wouldn't do it. I
think it's this situation. No English, and you've got maybe 17 this week, and you like Brodie to English gets you 18.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. See,
very situational, but yeah.
I guess the other tough thing, right, is like, say you're in that position, is it better to trade Brodie to English, or is it just better to jump off like Gone and go Gone to English?
Oh, Gone.
Say you had like Wits and Gone, right? Like you get off Gone, you go English, you miss Darcy and Gone from here on out, you keep Brodie in the forward line. I think that's like something you could consider.
I would like English in the forward line if something happens, personally.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless Teagle gets named, that'll be interesting, but not too sure. Sounds like Hayes definitely is not playing. But yeah, I think just in general, like Brody's averaging what, like 105, something like that. He's been
fine.
great this year. We'll get a spell. And yeah, he's done this consistently throughout the VFL. So if you can finish the VFL well, then I don't see why he can't finish the AFL season well. But I think Fife might affect him just a little bit because, if Brody's losing that first CBA that he usually gets, well, it might affect him a tad there. And like, who knows? Maybe they're up 5 minutes later, but who knows? But I don't think it'd be enough to warrant a trade. So we'll touch on. Okay, I was about to say move to the rookies, but we've got two very important topics. So Harry Himmelberg, nearly said Elliot Himmelberg. Can we swap, please? But Harry Himmelberg. Anna, do you want to start on this one? Did you see this game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a training drill, really.
Yeah.
They I was looking before. I think it was like 5 or 6 blokes with 10 marks. So, I mean, he, besides like the chipping around the back line, he actually played really, really well as well. Like pushed up the ground when he wanted to, or at times kicked a goal towards the end, which was nice from about 50. Obviously, not every team in the comp is going to allow you to do this, but what it does is like, I guess it's just another situation like Darcy Cameron. Like, if you've got the trades to do it and you want to take a chance on a guy, I mean, he might be top 6 from here with that role. I don't know. Like, he's like 100 and something. I mean, yeah, 187 bumps that up, but he's played well in the role for 2 weeks before this. Like, it's not just a flat, an out of the blue. So, obviously, you completely disregard all these games before that. But the thing is, like, Nick Haynes, is he in the twos for the rest of the year? Is he coming back? Like, I don't know.
Emergency, not sure.
So, like, he's got to be better. And Phil Davis isn't far away either. So,
yeah, but Phil Davis is the one that does worry me because he was 1 week. I don't. Let's have a look at that AFL.
So it was like last week at 350k. It's been absolutely beautiful. Get the 180 in now and just see what happens. But I think now it's just a little bit too late. But yeah, it's a free swing. Put it that way, because like other options, he's got a low break even where you can just, if you got trades, have a look, take a chance. But yeah.
Phil Davis is no longer on the injury list, having recovered from his severe hamstring tear, and will play either VFL or AFL this weekend.
Tarrant help Himmelberg?
Yeah, this is the thing. What's the impact? So
Himmelberg already playing. He's named forward, right, JD? Like, I think he's named centre forward this week as well, and he wasn't playing there.
Himmel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check that, but yeah, go on.
He did drift forward in the last quarter and kick a goal.
Oh, he's just pushing up the ground. He's like, I want to kick a goal. That's against North. Anyone can do that.
Yeah, I think it's still speculative at this stage, and I think we have enough good forwards to say we don't need to take this risk. I mean, he scored well in 3 games in the role. I think Frampton had like 40 touches in the SNFL playing. Was key position back, but intercepting everything. Himmelberg plays third tall, right?
Yeah, so he was named centre forward. Lockie Keefe and Sam Taylor in the back line. So I assume if Phil's back, Keefe will make way.
Okay.
So it's not bad if he plays the same role. But does he play the same role? I don't know.
Oh, it's just that like Phil can be used as a distributor, right? Like he's not like a bad kick or user of the football. So it's not that like the role changes. It's more just whether some of the kick and mark that's going through him goes through Phil Davis where it wouldn't have gone through Keefe.
I don't think he's any more than Keefe, really. Like,
yeah, I guess.
Spike's not stupid, as we can see. He's actually made some good calls. So you think the ball in Himmelberg's hands, but
yeah, I'd much prefer it in Himmelberg's hands. Okay,
I think my worry is more in just not playing that role altogether. In 2 weeks' time. But
they got to keep him in this role, surely.
You think that, but
yeah,
we don't bloody know.
All right, George. Hypothetically, you're offered a free trade. It won't cost you a trade, and you won't get any money from it. But you can swap Butters to Himmelberg this week. Do you do it?
No.
Rather have Butters from here.
I'm very scared of going speculative. I don't want to do it.
Give me Harry.
Oh, really?
Oh, look, I don't think Butters will hurt. I don't think it's that much of a difference. Unless Butters gets injected back into the midfield, but
I think he will. There's a puff piece on him this week that he wants to improve his midfield craft in the second half of the year.
Yeah, was that before Thursday where he played?
Was it?
I don't know. I'm asking.
he still pushes up heaps. Like he gets a
Yeah.
lot of the loose balls. Like his fantasy score was disgusting, like 50 something.
Yeah.
But Supercoach, because of the loose ball gets, he was farming up
He's clean.
contested handballs. I think it helps. But yeah, I'm not too sure on Himmelberg. If you could give me 2 trades, I could trade him out in 3 weeks if it doesn't work. I'd do it, no problem.
Do it back.
But yeah,
What
I
would
just
you do,
don't know
JD?
what to expect from here. But yeah,
What's your answer to that, JD?
It's like it's such a hard question. I probably shouldn't have asked it because I knew it would come back to me. I'd probably take the risk on Himmelberg if I could do it for free. But I guess like the hypothetical here is if you could do it for free. So none of us would advocate that it's worth a trade at the moment.
No.
yeah.
So I think that's the difficulty. If you're looking for a forward still, then Himmelberg does seem like a good option. The only other option that people may be considering this week, given that Himmelberg's in what most traded in and Brody's in most traded out, is Brody to Himmelberg and freeing up cash that way. George is scoffing. So this is not.
I know what Brody is now, or roughly what he'll be. I don't know what Himmelberg will be going forward.
And Brody's at a ridiculous price at 565.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of arbitrage because you're making 130k. I don't know. I wouldn't be doing it. But
I just think there's no reason to. There's a small reason to take. There's not enough reward for the risk. I think the pick will work. I just feel comfortable with what I've got. Put it that way.
Yep.
If this was last year, then,
I think this is a good way of summing up, right? Like all of us think Himmel will be okay from here. And if this was like 7 rounds earlier and we didn't already have finished forward lines, we would be trading him in as a value pick probably. But it's hard to trade already finished players to him now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, yeah, I think, did we mention he's taken half the kick-ins as well, and his rebounds are like past 2 games 10 and 10, I think, something like that. Kind of reminds me of Jordan Ridley early last year, that sort of level of domination, but again, small sample. But yeah, I think we can move on from Himmelberg. So I think I'm just, general consensus is I think we're probably happy with what we've got for it to not warrant a trade, but I think it's probably going to work.
All right, one more question then on this. Better value option this week, Whitfield or Himmelberg?
I'd try Himmelberg. I think
I probably would. Yeah.
I think
Whitfield.
Where the defenders are makes a difference.
I can see Whitfield throwing in 110 TT, 85 SC a few times.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Again, now we have this debate every week, or maybe 2 weeks. Bontempelli. Are we happy bringing him in off a rest, knowing that he might have a bit of a nagging shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's who I've got earmarked for my last forward spot. I'm not bringing in Himmelberg. I'm saving up to get Bont next week.
Yep.
Does
I'm the same
help
with
us.
Shady.
Both getting Bont with dodgy
But
shoulder.
it was actually he was my plan this week until I found a way to get led. So I'll wait on Bont. But yeah, like I might have to even wait 2 weeks just because I won't have enough trades. I'll need them cash from another person. So I'll get 2 weeks to look at him.
Are you the same, JD? Are you going to wait a week to see how he goes?
Nope. I'm bringing him next week, McCartan for so I'll see this week and then it'll be McCartan to Bont next week, one trade.
If I could afford him next week, I think I'd do
What
it
would you
anyway.
if you had to do it this week, would you do it, or would you rather wait a week?
No, I think I would have done it this week. I'm not that worried about the shoulder. I think other people are more worried about it than I am. He's played with it all year apparently and scored well, and he's just had the week off. Like I don't see why it would be a big problem. We haven't heard Bill about it during the break, so I'd be fine with it.
Josh Bruce is a test.
This is good for Bont.
Yes, is good. Very good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's good for sure. But
And probably Baz out helps a little bit as well
Yeah.
because you'd think there'd be more midfield time up for grabs. So
yeah.
Me personally, I would just want to see a week. And the thing is, even a Bont with a sore shoulder is still probably top 6.
He's had
He's
it
scored
right
the-
for ages, and he's won bloody 110. So
I'd like to see
If
a
it was
week still.
midfield, yes, you would stay away. But it's forward line and
Yeah, if there's one match you could watch this week for like Supercoach relevance, it's going to be this GWS Bulldogs game.
yeah.
1000%.
De Boer is out, pretty sure.
Ooh.
Oh,
But they like to
put that up there with the Turner news. Whoa, game changer.
GWS like to. GWS have a history of roughing up Bont, so see how he goes. Wouldn't be surprised if they target the shoulder, but we'll see.
Dogs got to turn around too. Big game. I mean, every game's a final for them, almost. Classic cliche, but
yeah,
they need wins.
Okay, we'll move on to rookies. Judson Clark played all right. Pretty good. I think 2 goals in the first quarter. I think this is. Does he stay in the team, Enno, for the next month?
Look, George, as Ralphie would say, he's not playing VFL for a long time. Nah, at least like 2 weeks. But then, as you know, who knows? But I think he's got to be ahead of Jay. Like Castagna hasn't kicked a drop and punt in 3 years. And Clark comes in and he's a left footer that can actually finish a chance. So while Jason's pressure is up there with the best in the league, if you can't kick a drop punt, then what much else are you? So it's got to be ahead of him. Maybe Rioli finds his way back in at some point, but yeah, I think he plays for a couple of weeks at least.
It was impressed by him. Just unfortunately petered out in that game, but could have been on for much bigger score. But yeah, should have job security for the next week or two. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him in the mid to long term. I guess depends on who your other forward spot is, but it's probably pretty safe if you've got Rioli Jr. and Judson Clark, because one of them should be in from here on out.
You're muted, I think, George.
Yeah, George, classic.
Anyway.
$1 for the swear jar, George.
As I was saying, I was miming,
cursing,
but no. Yeah, it's nice that you get the cover for both. If one plays, you would think one of them, Judson or Rioli, plays at least.
True. You have both, yeah.
I would take Hollins. If Hollins plays, I'd definitely take Hollins over Judson. I think his floor is going to be pretty low. First year, forward role.
Yeah.
Agree.
So, yeah.
This next guy you're going to want to talk about, George. Another wog.
Apparently he's a short wog. Big Massimo. I don't know what his last name is. Something.
D'Ambrosio.
Okay. Sounds Calabrese.
So,
JD,
this guy has to be up there with greatest names in the AFL. He's got to be right up the top. We lost Irving Mosquito, we lost McDonald Tippinwoody, and now we've got Massimo. And I was actually looking what the origin of the name Massimo is, and apparently it's biggest or greatest. And if he's a small wog, as you say, George, then he must be the greatest. So I'm all on board the Ambrosio train. The interesting thing was the rumors were talked about before the mid-season draft that he was going to be out 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. Gets drafted, plays first week, 33 touches in one of SNVFL's only wins for the year. So this bodes well, I would imagine. And someone like Hind was out of favor for a lot of the year. So I could see him coming in this week, just straight off the bat.
So if he's in, you'd happily go early on him?
He's a 102k defender. Are we getting any other defenders? Not that. We guess we're getting Durden potentially, who we can talk about in a second. But yeah, why not? Massimo's down the drain. Let's go, Massimo.
He's a better option than Durden. We can just say it right now. I think.
I would say scoring potential, he's better. Short-term job security, Durden seems to be pretty safe and locked in though.
Yeah, that's maybe a fair point. Archbank, 6 to 8 weeks. So.
And then
probably don't need to get into it.
Was he rushed
back? Was he rushed back? Anyway.
Archbank, no, I just don't think his body's holding up very well.
I think
no preseason into it
because he played in the VFL or something.
He had 2. He had a half and 3/4.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not that.
So Wiedering's still 4 weeks away. So I think that's how long Durden would be reasonable for. Mitch McGovern's 4 to 6 still, and then Caleb's 6 to 8. So yeah, 4 weeks you'd get out of Durden. whereas Massimo could hold down the spot for the year if he plays well.
Yep. Now, I assume JD has put Tom Hurd's name here.
Yes. I mean, what can I say? It has been the re-emergence of the Herd name this year. Jimmy's back in the coach's box, and whoa, GWS come good. Their players have come good. And then rumors this week that Tom Hurd could be making a debut for Essendon, which is interesting. I guess like if both Massimo and Hurd play, it's probably a pretty big indicator we've thrown the season away, and we're going to see we've gotten some of the younger players, younger talent. To be honest, not one that I thought would be popping up this year. He hasn't been like lighting the seconds on fire. He's like a smaller forward type player. He's 123k mid forward in Supercoach, probably one that you could avoid compared to like a Clark, Hollins, whatever. But don't be surprised if he gets a call up this week.
Okay, I'll read out his VFL numbers, fantasy, because we don't have Supercoach. 71, 59, 55, 58, 68, 128, and 58. Then like 40s and 50s and 60s. That's pretty much it. So I had one big game there. Small forward, bad team. Probably go Judson.
Carries the family name. It's the only
That's
thing
true.
that matters. Big game player.
Yeah. I guess we'll see if he gets named or not.
Yep.
And then we have Teakle. So we also have Durden. We kind of spoke about Durden, but expect he'll play, but probably go Massimo over him. And then Teakle. So I guess if Hayes doesn't play, which sounds like he got slagged off a little bit, I think, saying, Finlayson is like useful around the ground, which basically they're trying to say that Hayes is useless around the ground. I think it's what I got from that.
Strength?
Well,
wasn't that Sam Tay's supposed strength that he was good around the ground?
No, he's a tap rock.
he's a bean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He tapped and he benched. That's it. So
Well,
yes, I
what's his
think
name? The assistant coach said it, Jules, didn't he? Whether or not we play him this week, temptations there. Like they're saying a debut won't be far away. So
for Teakle, yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes. Before we get into the Discord Q&A, we can look at El Capitanos. So I think this week is quite difficult.
When you lose
I'm
Clary and Neil, it is.
Yes.
It is.
So you could go like a blue, like a Crips or something.
Crips or Walsh seem pretty decent options.
Yeah, with no
Against-
Chero this week, they come into consideration more than they were earlier in the week, I think. Although they didn't really have them on the weekend either. And it's not like, I mean, Cripps did okay for 3/4, was bad for one. Hewitt was just average. I don't know. Walsh was
One of them probably
poor.
goes big. You just got to hit, I guess.
Yep.
With
Should
Bailey
work on George.
You could. I think you're going to get a 115, I think, from George. If any interest in, with no Bailey Smith, any dogs against the Giants away? Just because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of options out there this week.
So if
Maybe a McRae.
Yeah, McRae, or if Bruce isn't ruck, I'd be interested in English.
So are they all VCs into Laird, pretty much? Is that what everyone's C option is?
Well, Took's there as well. Took and Laird play each other.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
and I think if you've got Mills against Port, that seems like a reasonable option too.
As a VC, yeah.
I think I'll do McRae into Took.
Like, I'm shooting this out there, but for VCs, like defenders, like Sinclair against Bombers, Stewart against West Coast, like you could have a crack if you really wanted to. If you were confident in your backup option.
JD, do you have a final call on captains? I'm not sure.
I'm probably leaning for English into Laird at the moment.
Okay, nice. All right. And did you say your final captains?
I'll be all over the shop, mate. I think Laird will have the C just on debut. VC, I don't know, mate. Maybe Tommy Stewart.
I think this would be a good place to advocate for turning into the Friday night quick video we do, 20 minutes, final trades for the week, captain, vice captain at that point, usually much closer to locked in. So, yeah, if you don't get around those, definitely do this week. Although it might be, once again, a little bit tricky with the Carlton-Richmond game already gone. But it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like any of us are going to back in a Carlton player at the moment, right?
Can't say for sure. Probably not though.
All right, Discord Q&A. Join Discord. Link is in the description. I don't know how many we have, like 2,000 people, something like
Yep.
that. So
Yeah,
first
how many of
question,
them? How many of them are like worth talking to though?
like there's like these are all
Like
troll
2.
questions. So Adama03 asks, will you answer this question?
You just were gonna read these ones out, aren't you, George? Come on.
This is like me doing the old Q&A video.
Yeah, this is like your live streams. I couldn't like tune in because you just read all the crap.
Benny Blue says trade Bruce. Do you trade him this week? If he plays
In or
no.
out? That's why I couldn't like. If he plays, like, is he? Do you trade like Gordon
to Bruce?
Yep. Again, next question. No, I would not trade Bruce in. No, he's clearly body has not held up the past few weeks.
And if he doesn't play,
if he's not playing, then
trade him
yeah,
out.
you should trade him out.
Yes.
Yeah. Crispy Supercoach asks Zorko, trade out.
Oh, you know
that
what?
reminds me.
No. This reminds me. Well, you go first, George. You go first.
I haven't heard a thank you for the Zorko trade out. You
All right.
blamed me last week.
Yeah,
but I think
it was
you
a
don't care
bad trade that's worked out well.
because you have him in your fantasy team. I think you care about that more. So I think you were still like annoyed.
Yeah.
But got my crystal ball out and predicted the old man injury.
And can I just say, you brought the karma bus on yourself big time with this one. Absolutely big time, because you were celebrating in a little private chat.
I was
celebrating. He
deserved
had the
it.
streamers out. He had balloons. There was
putting people's
invites.
head in the dirt. He deserved to get injured. I'm sorry, I can say that.
George was even going to break his sugar ban and eat a piece of cake. He was celebrating hard. Absolutely hard. You've never seen a guy so happy about an injury. And I must say, George, like, it's one of the most toxic things about fantasy community is like wishing injuries on players or whatever it is, or like, like just wishing the worst, not because you wish ill the player, but just because you want to help your team. George is very good at never doing that, basically ever, never celebrating injuries. But oh my God, I could feel the smile. Look at him. He's trying to contain it now.
Well,
He's
first
trying
of all,
to contain it now.
I traded him in fantasy. Okay, do you know how that was good for my fantasy team, which is kind of mud anyway? But as I said, he deserved it. He was trying to injure players all night.
Anyway, I'm just saying,
and he tried to hurt the player in the tackle, and he did his hamstring doing so. Anyway,
if we actually want some facts,
hit you for celebrating that, because
he's not actually too bad. Apparently, it's 50-50 next week to play. So
Zorko is really,
yeah. Scans a lot, very, very low grade, but yes,
he's a test. Surely he's not a test of the older guy. There's no way. He's got to be missing.
He's been playing through like 4 injuries for the past 2 years, so who knows?
Oh, that'd actually be like pretty peak comedy if Zorko plays next week and Gordon misses.
That would not be funny. Yeah, that is very toxic of me to say all that stuff, but probably still salty of how he ruined last year.
I was going to say, yeah, it doesn't help your ranks this year from what he did last year.
Yeah. Being objective for a second, 33-year-old soft tissue injury, has the bye, might be out the week after. Trade.
Yeah. I mean, it's why you preach it. Like Aaron Hall, we've seen it happen to him, even though we got lucky with him last year.
Just like the other thing, right? We brought Zorko in as a cheap option because in the better role, he could go back to averaging what he was averaging last year. That hasn't panned out, and there's a bunch of players that have gone past him. Like, just get rid of him and move on.
Yeah. Laird or Mills? I think we've discussed this.
Laird.
Yep.
I don't know.
Here's a question. No, I'll ask this one. So this is for George. Was science your favorite subject at school? And I guess I'll elaborate on this. If it wasn't science, what was your favorite subject, George?
I wasn't very good at science. My best subject at school was probably woodwork. And even then, I didn't do that too good.
No wonder we're sponsored by Manscaped.com.
But yeah, actually, can I? Anyway, can I share a story from science class in year 8? It's
Yeah,
not
go
that
for
funny.
it.
You're
Go
so
for it.
funny.
No one probably
Um,
watches anymore at this stage anyway.
Anyway, so this is my only memory of science class. So we had to do a presentation on wind turbines, and there was 3 people in our group. There's me, a chick, and some other dude. And this dude does no work. Like, you think I did no work in high school? This dude literally did like negative work. So we all had our presentation. We had the slides done. Like, you done your part, you done your part. The other guy who done your part. It's like, oh, just make something up. Like, okay, like we're kind of screwed. So I do my part. Talk about wind turbines. You know, I don't know. I can't remember. Basically, what I would have done is I would have gone on Wikipedia, copied and pasted, rearranged the words. That's what I would have done.
Classic.
Girl did her part, whatever, smart, good job. And this guy does his part. He doesn't have any cue cards. He looks at the screen and he goes, pauses for like 10 seconds. And he goes, the windmill goes round and round. That was it. That was all he said. That was his presentation.
What grade did you say this was?
This was year 8.
Oh, okay. You're right. It's not too bad. Like, it's still bad, but it's not like.
I mean, he's not wrong. They do go round and round.
He didn't
He's
even
not
call it a
wrong.
wind turbine. He called it a windmill. Pretty bad. But that was my probably
Favorite
that was
memory of
funny.
science.
And you can imagine me trying to keep it together. Anyway, we can move on. We're like off. If anyone's still watching now, is Cogs a top 6 even with Toronto and Hopper coming back in?
Oh boy, I think if he is, he's like 6th. So I'd lean towards no, but a lot depends. I mean, Baz is gone, so it's like, well, there's one. I say no.
So this has been like the heralded move since he's taken the reins of coaching, that like Cogs has got back to form in there. I don't know if they can move him back out. Like, politically, if he's auditioning for a head coach role and like this is the thing he's being lauded for, I don't know if he actually can move him back out. I don't know. I think Cogs is fine. He's probably top 6 here, even with Toronto and Hopper coming back. They'll just have to play other positions. Hopper's been out all year. He's not going to be ready for the midfield time. They'll put him forward. Toronto's shown he can play forward well enough. Like, I think Cogs stays where he is and the others play his bad role.
Agree. I think he's probably on the edge of top 6.
I think he's like 6th. Well, I'm just looking at it, but yeah.
Any concern with Darcy?
Every week. But do you know what? That's part of the fun of owning him. It's the roller coaster. It's the ups and the downs. What do you always say, Anno? If you don't love Shrek at his worst,
JD,
you don't deserve him at his best.
Exactly. That is, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's if you can't cop the bad with Sean Darcy, you just don't deserve his 50-point 10-minute patches like he had in the weekend. But didn't do much else outside of that.
when I see him score a 70, I get really excited because I know next week it's a 170. All right, like you just sometimes you've got to reset at the bottom to go up.
My mate messaged me because apparently my video I said he gets a well-deserved, and then I stopped myself. I'm like, a much-needed rest this week because he gets Tom de Conning off the bye next week against the Blues, so that should be pretty tasty.
Okay, next question. Would you rather do Petrarca to Laird this week or use that money for next week for Butters to English?
Butters to English is like a 30-point difference, so I'm going that one.
Yeah, yep. Same.
I think it'll be like 20 points.
But I guess it depends how bad you think Butters is. Because I still think English can be 120.
Actually, yeah. English can even do more than that. Call it 25. I think Butters will be okay. Anyway, next question is, should I go with it into Doc?
Should go with it into whoever the hell you can afford. So yes.
That should have been done last week. But yeah.
Get him out.
Next question is trying to filter through a lot of bad ones. Who's the best player to finish your team out of everyone in the whole game?
Oh, that's easy. McRae. No, Oliver. No, Neil.
That's easy. Yeah. Tim English, because I assume everyone has most of the others. Or Rory Lett, we could say.
I think from each line, Stewart down back. Like I'll try and pick ones that aren't like super owned. So Stewart down back, Laird in the midfield, English in the forward line, and then I don't know, Wits in the rucks, but like everyone's got Wits. So there you go.
Okay. Toiling Bergie asks, why the F did I trade Cogs? I don't know.
You can't beat yourself up, I don't think. Like we're gonna sit here as Cogs owners and go, haha, sucked in. Like I said this after the 140, but like it wasn't a full guarantee he's just gonna be slotted straight back into the midfield, but he had two easy kills. Well, George will say otherwise. He was named at Rover, so that means he was definitely
hold on.
That was the biggest cap I've ever seen.
After he's 37, George was full on trade Cogs mode.
Oh,
he was recommending trade.
I wasn't.
You
I
cast
said
your mind back. He's
no,
gonna lose so much money. You gotta
again.
trade him this week. You gotta trade him.
He did. He did it in like 4.2 seconds.
Monday trades. A premium goes every Monday for me, and then I need to think about it towards the end of the week. Okay, he was named that week. New coach named in the midfield. I said, hold up. This is what I thought. Okay, I traded Brody in round 2. Worst trade ever, all time. You're not going to beat that. Worst trade ever.
Unless you got him back, mate.
I remembered what it was like to not have. Like I thought to myself, what if Cogs plays in the midfield under the new coach? He was named on the ball. And he gets to play the 2 worst teams we've ever seen. What if he goes well when you don't have him? Ask the 4 people in our Discord group or in the main Regs League group that traded him. I think it's probably 4 out of 36 of us.
Expletives.
They are hating the game so much that I've never seen before, and it's just cog spam, and they can't take it. So,
well, mate, take it from me and JD. We've watched Brody spam for 12 weeks. Jesus, like, suck it up.
I'm a shell of a person at the moment. I'm held up.
I'm taking it better than JD, but yeah. Come on, spare me. Like, 3 weeks of cogs. Jesus.
Yeah.
It helps you've got Sicily and
exactly. Yeah, I know. That's probably why.
At least for cogs, at least you take the lesson out of it.
Yeah,
is that your lesson?
It's a hard one,
because
it's a hard one. Because if he hadn't put that 37 in and had such a big break even, I think more people would have held just to see the 1 week with the new coach.
Yeah,
but that created probably a sense of urgency, which people then bid on. But I don't know, like Cogs could still fail from here. Like, yes, we got a couple of good scores from him, but if he goes like, I don't know, 90 from here and 95 from here, it's still not that great. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much.
They're a big, like, what if?
They could, yeah, they could be.
So
I don't know. It's still hard to evaluate that trade on 3 weeks afterwards, with 2 of them being bents, West Coast and North. So don't beat yourself up too much. Could come back in your favor.
Okay. Yes or no answer only. Jack Crisp, All Australian. JD?
Mate, hasn't been in your team on Twitter.
1 word answer.
The only place he's All Australians on is his passport.
Okay, no, I'll just take that as a yes since you haven't answered, and I will say in for Petrarca this week.
Track wasn't in anyway.
No. Is there a time machine so I can trade Butters over Cogs?
If there's a time machine, I sure as shit wouldn't be going to Supercoach trade first. I'd be doing something else, but that's the last thing I'm caring about.
Oh my God. Can you imagine time traveling? You've unlocked the secret, and the first thing you do is open your Supercoach. I gotta fix my trades. I gotta fix them.
There's probably easier ways to win 50 grand.
You might not even win it. That's the funniest part. You might still not get there.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a round 1. Go back to round 1 and start the optimal team. But
yeah,
where's the fun in that anyway? What? There's a reason you play this game. Like, Sorry, we went on that. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
No, we got to quickly go over this. There's become so part of the fun of Discord is you have people that take on players as their personality. So you have someone that decides that they're like the SDK fanboy, and you have someone that decides whatever else. This week we've been blessed with a Chuck Warner, and I have never seen Chuck Warner talked about so much. It's funny because after watching him play a couple of games here, I could see him being a Supercoach premium in the future, and I've said as much. But thoughts on starting Chad Warner next year? I don't know, dude. We'll revisit in February. Just pump the brakes. He's a good player. We don't need to see spam every week at the moment.
You said the good part about Discord is that. I don't think that's good anyway. Every person's a player. I don't even know who you
sometimes it can be fun. Look, we got Cooper Stevens M1 in here. That's funny. Crisp. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Maybe this isn't a good part. But yeah, hold up on Chuck Warner.
Well, it's not good for whoever does it because I just don't know who you are. I'm sorry. I can't.
That's true.
Because if you change your name again, I don't know who the hell it is.
All right, next question. Are we still in the Q&A? I think so. Any world where you hold Dacos?
No.
I'd have to be in a pretty good position. I need his money, so goodbye, Nicholas.
Yep. And is McRae captain option this week?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, vice captain, I think, but yes.
And I think we'll go last question. No, two more. Would you still consider Libba as a trading target if you're worried about Bont?
Oh, this is was it Baps that asked it? Hey, he was going hard on the Libba chat today.
No, someone else.
You hate Libba, don't you, JD? No, you don't hate him. But...
I don't hate him at all. I think he's a perfectly good player. It's just interesting that Bailey Smith's going to miss 4 weeks, and all of a sudden that makes Libba this great trading option. I don't know about that.
I think respect. Hasn't he gone well even with him previously?
Yeah, he's averaging 103 on the year, and the games that he had without him, he went 131 and 111. So he scored well without him. But I don't know, he's 544k, which is right up there. Are you picking Libba over Parker?
Well, that's probably a call for me, but no, I'm not. I'm probably going Parker.
And what about Libba against Trelaw?
I'll take Libba.
Yeah, I'll take Libba.
And then you wouldn't have Libba ahead of English or Bont.
Johns would probably have him ahead of Bont, but that's because Bont's got
I still take. I don't. Libba's dribbling is not a crash shot. It's good. It's not perfect, and you want it as good as it can be at this point in the year.
All right. So if you've got English, Dunkley, Parker, Bont ahead of him, that's 4. You've probably got one of Cogs or Butters, that's 5, and then most people have got Brody or Cameron, that's 6-ish. You're not trading any of them to Libba. I don't know. It's just it's a weird option. And if you're taking a punt on someone this week, I'd rather probably do it on Himmelberg still. It's just I don't know. It could be a pod option that works out really well for me. I'm not saying it's a bad trading by any means. It's just how I've got them ranked at the moment. I just can't see many teams have been in a position where they're picking Libba over these other options.
Look, I think with the Baz thing, we could actually really see the Dogs mids spike. It's down to 4 now. It's the clear number 1 starting is going to be McRae, Bont, Libba, and then Dunks coming out of the forward line.
Trelaw as well.
And Trelaw. So with Baz out, and maybe Baz comes back in 4 weeks and he doesn't get straight back in the midfield because of his situation. So I don't know.
Is Lockie Hunter back this week? Because that was all the talk that he was going to be back after the bye. Because that's the one that that comes in quite obviously for Bailey Smith for the outside role, but probably won't take up as many CBAs.
It means they play a proper wingman. They're just playing midfielders who they were made to play forward.
Bailey Williams was playing wing, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and that too.
And you kind of had
McNeil was.
You've got McNeil and McComb kind of sharing one as well with the forward rotations.
Yep. So last question, is McRae a vice captain option? Yes.
Yeah. I think he said that maybe.
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll wrap up. I think this was one of the shorter ones, only just so So I think we'll sign off. I think the next few weeks of podcast will make them a bit more fun because there's less to talk about. So rankings, hypotheticals, next year maybe.
The highlight
Debates.
of this week for me was definitely learning about George's science class. So if you've got some non-Supercoach related questions you'd like to ask George, preferably, then yeah, hit us up with those as well.
I'm not that interesting. Maybe you can talk about your younger days, JD, in your prime.
Whoa! That's very loaded. That is very loaded.
What are you saying? He's out of his prime.
I'm still in my younger days, and I'm still in my prime. All right.
Okay. Very well, but talking prime here. But anyway, I think that's it. We'll wrap it up. Any final words, Enno?
I got on the footy Thursday night, so
Nice.
that's a massive game in context. I mean, we were saying before the podcast, there's like 12 teams with a percentage above 100, and like a couple games, between like half the ladder. So every game is pretty big between any of those teams. And I think, obviously not relevant, but next week after the buys are done, there's like every game is a pretty good matchup. Like Carlton Freo next week, Geelong Tigers, Collingwood GWS, Sydney Saints. Like there's like going to be like 4 or 5 big games every week. So look, we're Supercoach podcast, but I'm kind of looking forward to like just sitting back, just watching footy for like the next half of the year. So
I'll tell you what, people have been complaining about Essendon being on Friday night 3 weeks in a row, right? We had it against Carlton the week on. It's St Kilda next week, and then it's West Coast the week after. 3 Friday night slots Essendon in a row. And can I say, there is no one more upset with the AFL and their fixturing than my wife. Because Friday night comes around, and my weekend is over by 10 p.m. I'm in a foul mood. Supercoach teams down the drain. Essendon's put up another stinker. It's absolutely awful. Us Essendon fans aren't enjoying Friday night slots either, all right? Like, put it to a Sunday so we can, like, at least only suffer for half a day before we can reset on the Monday. Yeah, it's just absolutely shocking. Like, my boy's got his 2nd birthday this weekend. How am I meant to be up and about after watching, like, I don't know, maybe Massimo comes in and saves the day. Well, let's heard Massimo. We turn a new leaf at Essendon this weekend. Yeah, that's sad. George, what are your final thoughts, mate? What do you got going on?
I was just thinking, well, Essendon versus West Coast. Surely they put that on 7, mate, and put a movie on Channel 7.
All right.
Who's going to watch that? That's garbage.
What movie are you watching over that? Like, what, The Accountant? What's
Lord
of the Rings rerun?
Wait. It's Dogs Hawks, and then an hour later it's Pies and West Coast.
Maybe I'll just play Game of the League then.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch many movies. I watched Hustle on the weekend. That was good.
It was good.
I'm going to get to that, yeah.
Strong recommend.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can talk about movies next week. We'll see.
Warriors or Celtics?
Warriors. Steph Curry, finals
MVP.
MVP.
Question. You're both going to say that.
I
still think Boston can force the Game 7, but then if it went to Game 7, I think Warriors would win Game 7 anyway.
No, stuff Boston. Hate them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, facts.
I know what you guys were going to say.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you guys later in the week for the trades video.